Welcome to this December 18th, 2024 Rotary meeting. I know there's a lot of you. It's great to see a lot of new faces and so many wonderful sweaters. We're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Jody's not here today. So I think I'll go. Did she contact anybody? If not, I do know the Pledge of Allegiance. I said it for how many years as a teacher? So ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right, and with that, I will have Jamie come up to inspire us.
Yeah, everybody sit down, please. Okay, so since this is our last meeting and the last inspiration before Christmas and before the new year, there's a lot of pressure for me to be really inspirational. But many of us choose inspirational quotes to share. I'm not going to share a quote. I'm going to share some inspirational people because what they do is what inspires me more than any quote ever could. So if you want to be inspired to make your community better, look at the people in this room. Look at people like Steve Rowe and his work with his therapy dog in mental health awareness in many other areas. Look at people like Doug Walker and his work with housing, among many other things. If you want to be inspired to become a better leader, look at people like Jody McDonald when she leads us in the Backpack Project or Shoes That Fit. If you want to be inspired to just ease the suffering of even one person for one day, look at Kelly and Tommy and everyone else in the club who are cooking and feeding our homeless community. Look at people like Judy Basker, that when the things we do require funds, Judy is the queen of that. I'm inspired by Bev Walker and how she continually opens her heart and her home to our exchange students. If you want to be inspired to be a better human being, look no further than Lutz Kramer. We recently thought we were going to lose him, and I'm pretty sure half of this town went into a panic. I'm inspired by Lutz to become the kind of human being that inspires that kind of love. I could go on and on about people in this club, but we have to move on. So I'll just say it again. There's no better inspiration than the people right here in this room. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Very nice. Okay, I'm going to acknowledge today Jan Jones has been our greeter. Jan, do we still have cards back there? Okay, so she's working on getting those cards sold for our 50-50 at the end. We do have a lot of visitors. We have a non-Rotarian guest, and I am going to let Nayland Mailer take a minute to introduce his gift, and I mean his guest, and I'm going to run because this is how I get my steps in.
Thank you, Madam President. Right, we all call her Madam President, don't we? That's what I'm thinking. Madam President, Rotarians and guests, I have with me today a guest. Toriano Ortiz is with the Salvation Army, and he's here to check out your club. And I said, well, we're going to have fun today. So that's it.
Yes, indeed. And let's see who who's have a guest.
I have a guest. Michaela Gonzalez is one of the interns who are working in the construction training program, and she's concentrated on painting, and she's painting some furniture today. And so I brought her with us.
This is kind of fun. We have some previous students with us.
Today I have guests with me, my son Matthew Sharpen and our speaker Ariana Scott. They're one of the original Interact participants from North Valley.
And we have a whole table full of guests over here, which I'm very honored. I'm going to let Roger introduce them a little bit later because they're here to share with us today a special event. So that will be a lot of fun. So at that time, I'll let Roger explain why they're all here to visit us. I'm excited for that moment. And then online, we also have Coach Reese, who is, I could start naming off all the things he does in Rotary. He is the president of Ivy Club. He is our interim AG. He is the DG something nominee elect, but I'll let him talk and explain all his roles in the Rotary and all that he does for us. So go ahead, Bruce.
Thank you, Valerie. Is the volume turned up on the TV? I'm not muted. No.
We're muted.
No.
You're not now.
TV. Is it working now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm not going to take too much time. The acronyms are by my name, and it's just a lot of fun to be able to move up in the leadership role in the district. And I'm really here just to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and know that your club's still being supported, even though I'm an interim AG. So thanks for having me, and enjoy the
Festivity.
yes, your festivities, but the exchange of the decorations is the great part.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, and without further ado, the cards have been sold. I'm just a couple of short announcements. First of all, we do not meet again until January 8th. So don't come here, because Thursday is Christmas, and the Thursday after that is New Year's, and then the Thursday after that is January 8th. So that's where we will be there. So it's 3 weeks. That's amazing. As far as committee moving forward, I'm just going to tell you that as the new year begins, we've got the vocational coming up. So I'll meet with some people about that over Christmas break. Porch Fest is on the horizon. So January will kind of kick off and start the fundraising. We're doing all the things for Porch Fest. I'm excited about that. And then we also have the mentorship program that Doug is working on that we're hoping to get moving next year. So those are all things coming down the pipe. Right now, I'm going to begin our program with a celebration of Rotary Interact. And so as our guest, we have Ariana, who is one of the original Interact students. And when I got involved in the very beginning, they were just putting it together, the Thirst Project, and she was very excited to go to Africa, and then COVID hit. And it was like, wow, the world stopped. But I didn't get to hear her presentation, but she did finally make it there. So I wanted to hear her come and celebrate as Rotarians what we go for in the international program. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Ariana to talk about her trip.
Oh, can you guys hear me through this? Yeah. I didn't even know that. Oh, wow. I could yell. Probably now. Better. Okay, I'll talk about it too. I'm good at that. Okay, so hi, if you guys don't know who I am, my name's Ariana. I'm here with Matthew. Back in high school, we had the opportunity to fundraise for Thirst Project through the Interact group after JD came to our school and kind of recruited a bunch of us who were really passionate about community service, and it kind of ended up taking off. And it's been one of the biggest blessings leading up to my life so far. So I'm really glad I get to come here and talk about it. If you were here like over a year ago, you heard me yap for a very long time. If you were not, then thank God that you only have to hear me yap for about 15 minutes today, because I did shorten my presentation. So this is Thirst Project. If you guys were not here a little while ago when we were begging for money for it, and then I'll explain. How do I explain? Wait here. Might be the down button. Okay, so if you haven't ever heard of Thirst Project, basically their mission statement is that it's a nonprofit organization that works with the support of young people to end the global water crisis in building freshwater wells in developing communities that need safe, clean drinking water. So right now where they're at is Eswatini, Africa. It's southern and like very eastern on the coast, and it's about the size of New Jersey. And a lot of the rural areas do not have access to clean water until Thirst Project started working in there. And that's kind of what we were fundraising for in high school. And so you can go ahead and click the next one. So me and Matthew and a big old other group of high schoolers kind of all banded together with you guys, with a lot of your guys' help, and we just kind of started fundraising for different wells. It was, I think it was it 24 or 12,000 that we needed? 25,000 per.
12,000.
12,000 per well. Thank you. It's been a while. 12,000 that we needed per well, and we worked on it throughout the years. We did rummage sales. We gave presentations to the high school. We came and talked to you guys a bunch. And with your guys' help and a lot of people from the community, we ended up being able to fundraise for a little over two full freshwater wells. And then because of that, Thirst Project came to our school and came to me and said, hey, we want to give you the opportunity to go to Eswatini, Africa and help build those wells and then be able to bring the information back to community to keep stirring up engagement with it. And then as you guys heard, COVID did hit. And for a little while, we were not able to go, but then me being persuasive, I would say, is the nicest part I would put. I started emailing a couple years later and was like, hey, how's it going? And after a little while of being persistent and talking to them, they, after COVID kind of settled down and it was safer to go, they reached back out to me and said, you know, we did actually send people, representatives to build your well for you. However, they have had fresh water for 2 years, and we would like to give you the opportunity to come and see the progress with a bunch of other students of all the wells that you guys have built. And we do have one more community that we need to build right now. And so we'd like to give you guys the opportunity to fly with us there and kind of see the progress after 2 years. And I was like, yes. And so this is what I'm going to go through. I'm just going to run through quickly so we came in, we landed in Johannesburg for 1 day. And then we jumped on the tiniest plane I've ever been on my entire life and flew to Eswatini and checked into our Airbnb. And then I'll just a quick recap. I kind of shortened the presentation from last time. We did get to do a lot of other things besides visiting communities. We got to go see a orphanage program called Project Canaan, which was really amazing. If you want more information on that, it is the craziest blessing. It's a husband and a wife that are Christian and moved to Eswatini just to come and bring in a bunch of orphans that didn't have any homes to go to, and they raise them from 0 to 18 and kind of teach them how to work and they have a school on their property. It's amazing. So we got to see that. We got to go on a bunch of different other things, but the main reason I'm here is to go through all the different well sites. So this is our first one that we went to. Some of the names I will not try to pronounce again because I worked on them a year ago and I don't remember them anymore. But this is our first well site that we went to. It was just a small rural community. It was about 3.5 hours of a windy, twisty mountain that beforehand, in order to get to town, or in order to get to water, they had to walk along that tiny narrow pathway all the way down the mountain. And then by the time that they would get to fresh water after hours and hours of walking, it ended up being a cow and goat feces infested water hole. And so this was the first community we went to. They were so welcoming. We had brought the people who down here, I think Russ, it was his and his family's community. They brought some t-shirts for them and they were just so abundantly thankful, singing songs. We went to play soccer with them, so that was pretty amazing. We took the trek down to their old water site, and as you can tell, this is what it looked like. It's not much water, more mud, and that's what they were using to drink, bathe, everything until 2 years prior when the wells had gotten built. So it was pretty heartwarming to be able to see where they were at now. And then here was our second community we went to, Lizitha Primary School. If you are feeling a little sad, since the sun is not out right now, go to Eswatini, Africa and go to a primary school because that is the biggest boost of serotonin you will ever get. They were all just singing hymns, praising God, and just were so abundantly joyful. And I was told that that's how they were even before the water. They were just so grateful to just be alive and just have what they have. And then when we got there and they were able to celebrate with us and just praise, it was so amazing. And up at the top, this was one of my favorite communities because it was really cool to see. The top left is the farms that the students were able to start learning to do agriculture and farm their own food. And then they explained that that was possible because of the freshwater wells that got put in. And then what's even cooler is when the kids spend all semester learning how to grow their own crops, and they get to harvest them and it's all plentiful. They take that home to their families and it helps provide their families with extra fresh food that their families might have been struggling with. So that was really, really cool. I cried there hearing that. And then this was Helene's site number 1. This is our third community we went to. Again, another amazing one for agriculture. This was a small little community that before was really struggling with a lot of disease and malnutrition because they didn't have access to, they were 5-something hours outside of the city. They had no access to fresh produce, clean water, anything like that. But as you can see in the top right, one of the men there came and was so excited to show us his fruit trees that he had grown with the fresh water, and the fruit was free of disease or any issues like that. So that was amazing. And they were so thankful they gifted us a chicken that we took back to our ground cabin because we couldn't take it on the plane. But it was pretty awesome. They were so thankful they just gave us one of their prize chickens, which was really amazing. And then this is their old water source, a little bit bigger than the last one, but as you can tell, a lot of mud and again, a lot of feces and a lot of coli and different diseases that are in the water. And it was somewhat close to where they were living, but the people who were going down to those water sources were the women and children. So they weren't, that was their job, was to bring it back and try to purify it if they could. And they weren't able to have a job because they weren't able to have any kind of like schooling or anything, because that was their job all day, is to come down to the water source. And so actually a lot of the kids in this community we didn't even get to see because they were off at school at this time instead of collecting water, which was just super heartwarming. All right, and then this is the day that we did the build site. This is Mabon Day. This, I could talk about this for hours, was the most amazing opportunity to, for one, I think I hammered one nail and picked up like 2 rocks. I'm not gonna lie to you, because they were so excited. Like I was ready. I was wearing my little like romper that I got from Amazon. I was ready for it to get ripped and dirty and gross because I was not planning on bringing it back because I was ready to build. And the people in this community did not want that. They wanted to be hands-on. They wanted to know how to build it. They wanted to know how to repair it. That's the other amazing thing about First Project is they not only go in there with the materials to build the well, but they also go in there with people who are so smart and are able to educate all the community members and speak Sasquatch and are able to teach them how to keep up their own well so that there isn't any issues if it breaks later on. They're not just like, oh, whatever, it happens. We'll get to you next year. So the community members are fully ready to repair their own well, and they were so excited and they just wanted to be such a big part of it, and it was so amazing. So they did most of the work, but we did jump in and help as much as we could, as much as they would let us. And we just got to play with the kids. They got to sing. I got to watch the process of chicken from alive to my dinner, and that was actually really cool. So that was really nice. They fed us dinner. They gave us real sugar Coke, which I also had never had, and that was amazing because they have their own sugar cane plantations and it's not all chemicals like here. So that was great. And then there's the one. This was their old water site, or not so water site, as you can tell on the left side picture. The underneath that bridge used to be a river, but they said that pretty much for years on end it just dries up. So if that is dried up, then they would have to continue on and hike hours and hours. Again, the women and children are usually the ones doing that to fetch water that is not from the contaminated river if it's all dried up. So, and then that's their new well. So that was pretty cool to see. All right, and then here's our next community. This is another school that we got to go to. And this was the craziest one because all of us were debating whether or not we wanted to go down to the old water source because it was like a mile that was just straight downhill. And I was like, if they did it for years, if the 3rd graders are doing it, I can do it. And it was definitely the best workout I've ever done in my life. And so this one was really cool as well. It was just like the other primary school. The kids just grabbed us and were dancing with us, pulled us up to their gardens, got to show us all their produce that they were farming. The girl down here at the bottom, it was her community. She brought coloring books for all the kids, and it was just so cool. Like everyone was just constantly clinging to, and all they wanted to do was just dance and sing. And it was just such a cool experience to see. Like, I mean, even in America, I know I fall short of it. Like we are just so used to. We have so much at our disposal, and we are just so used to, like everyone is just so angry all the time, and like I do the same thing. But then you go to a community like this where they are just so praising and happy to just have fresh water, which is something we like take advantage of every single day. So it was just really amazing to see these young kids that now get to go through all the grades, because they explained that it was the 3rd graders that was like their job. They would go down that crazy mile long hike with big old jerry cans, and they like I was climbing up this mountain on my hands and knees, and 3rd graders were doing it with jerry cans on their backs. So they're just completely built different than I ever am. But now they don't have to do that. They can finish out their third grade year, go into fourth grade ready, and they have their own well that they get to pump. And it was just really cool. This is also the first one that Thirst Project had installed the actual spigots that you can turn on, and they have pump systems. So that's really why they wanted to bring us to this one, because they were like, oh, we're doing more with the same amount of money. So that was really cool to see. And as you can tell, I know it doesn't look that steep. I'm not that much of a wussy. It's really steep. And that was their old water source up there. And then that was their little kitchen and all their buckets that they would use to bring the water back up if they didn't have jerry cans. So, and there were like flies everywhere. It was not the cleanest down there. And so it was really cool to see that they now have these spigots. And then here was the next community, Joppa Site 1. Same thing as before, just got to sit in a circle and play down by the banks with all the little kids, and that was really fun. And they had some hunting dogs that they kept trying to give us, and I was like, I can't take your dog on the plane. But they were just so grateful, and it was just if you take nothing out of this, it was just about the joy. I want to harness some of the joy that people had there, and I just want to put it in me and take it on forever. This is their old water source. Yeah, that was pretty much what they had year round until it rained a little bit. And then this is the one we were all waiting for. If you guys were here and you were gracious and were donating when we were collecting donations for this was our Grants Pass water site. So me and our entire group got to go see and Gabriella had a great idea to stop at the Pick and Pay and get some diapers and menstrual pads and things like that the community also didn't have. And we stopped at a stand that has little bananas and everything. And Evan was like, let's buy out the whole stand. So we bought out the whole stand on Thirst Project Scholar and then brought it all to the community. And it was just so amazing to be able to see. It was the last one we got to see too. And I was just so grateful that on the last day we got to see the Grants Pass well. And so all the years of hard work, so this is why I'm here, just to say thank you to all you guys who didn't get to see it last year. This was from your guys' hard work, so thank you. I have one more slide just to say, I do want to recap and just say that the fight is not over. I'm so grateful to say that Delynn has taken a lot of high schoolers, and there's a lot of high schoolers still at North Valley High School that are still working tirelessly to continue to fundraise. And it sounds like her daughter is one of the presidents of the group, and it sounds like they're about 5-year trajectory away from completely eradicating the global water crisis from all of Eswatini, and then they'll be moving on to a new site. So again, I just want to say thank you, but the fight is not completely done. So if you feel it in your heart.
And thank you. I mean, that was absolutely, you were a fast talker, girl. You did a great job. I was impressed. And very, very well done. And this month, December is disease month. And all month long, I've been thinking, who can come in and have as a speaker? Well, there you go. We're eradicating the disease, as we can see from those water sites. So thank you. That is double duty. Gave us that information. So that was awesome. So thank you, and we will continue to work with you. I guarantee that. Okay, our next celebration is a celebration of song. And with that, I'm going to have Roger come up and introduce his group.
Thank you very much. I did not expect to follow a presentation like that. I got goosebumps. Thank you so much for what you do. Welcome, fellow Rotarians. I'm Roger, and I am from the Grants Pass Club, the Wednesday Club. And I was here in September with the food bank and the food collection project that we had. As a matter of fact, I see her over here, Patrice from the food bank. She told me, she goes, you know what, Roger? We've collected over 500 pounds of food already, our club. And light bulb kind of went over, and I go, well, we haven't done any. And so I said, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a bet that from this point, we will go forward, and whoever gets the most wins. And then the other club has to come in and sing. And since we're here, you all know who won. And just to recap those numbers, and congratulations to you guys. The Friday Club with Joni got together, and they brought in 123 pounds.
We got together and brought in 932 pounds. Your club, just for the contest, brought in 1,100 pounds. With that 500 that was in there already, it brought us to a little over 2,600, almost 2,700 pounds, which equates to about 8,000 meals. So thank you all so much. And as Patrice reminds me every time I see her, she goes, let's keep this sustainable. Let's continue. So from Patrice to wait, I'll take questions later.
Here. So our club, to the date, December, not counting whatever came in today, we brought in 2,115 pounds of food.
Thank you so much. This is when I emceed Shine a Light. I gave her a name. She is not Earth, not the Mother Earth. She is the Earth Mother of our community. Because if you talk to her long enough about gardening, she's going to talk about poop. Anyway, I love you. I love you, Chris. All right, so let's pay our debt here. Oh, and also congratulations and thank you to everybody. I saw you had a project at the food bank and you packed, right? Somebody, didn't you? No, we did it yesterday, but didn't you do something last week? Pack food? I saw Doug. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Okay. What went in the backpack? Food? He was right. Anyway, and then we had a fork project yesterday where we packed 300 bags of food that are being handed out today at Three Rivers and tomorrow at District 7. So thank you to everybody. The community really. And also, she's not here, but Jody McDonald's a fellow board member who has been on the board a lot longer than me and does a lot of work. So, all right, you guys ready? All right, so we have the Grants Pass Rotary Chorus Holiday Singers. So if you guys want to come on. We actually had a rehearsal. We've had 2 rehearsals for you guys, and it didn't help that someone brought in an a cappella group yesterday. So here, let me. You probably know most of these people. This is Dennis. This is Tina. This is Sandy, Marion, Bill, Mr. Former district governor Nelson Mailer. Not a former Rotarian. That's a life sentence. And from the Friday Club, we've got Richard. So you hand this over or put it down, and we're going to sing. If you know the words, sing along.
Will you join us? Please. You got us on the right note there. I'm not Tis the season to be jolly, la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, la 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 la. We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Finish. That's all.
We have one of our singers was unable to be here, but he did want you to know that he wishes you a very Merry Christmas. So I have some homemade ornaments from Mr. Pat Fahey here. I will put them on the table. Please come up and get one. And again, he wishes you all a wonderful Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Oh, that was absolutely beautiful. I am so impressed. I am. And you did a very wonderful job. I was gonna have us join and do some more, but I'm looking at the clock. And I'm realizing we've got goodies up here that people have brought in that we want to share. And we have our ornament exchange that we want you to join us with. So there are some extra ornaments. So if you don't have an ornament, I have some extra ones that you can grab. And Jody, who has done this for years and years and years, got called away to go up to Seattle. I don't know, hopefully she's not being flooded out right now, but for something for work. And so she couldn't be here. But we have the honor of Jenny Jackson, who has been practicing, she said. So indeed, this is how it works. We make a big circle, and obviously it's going to be a big circle, and I think we can figure it out probably from the round here all the way over there. So we're gonna make a big circle. You'll have an ornament in your hand, and then Jenny will start us off with the story, and it's the right left story. So if you ever remember doing the hokey pokey, hopefully you'll remember you put your right hand in. Everybody knows their right hand. You put your left hand in, so everybody knows the difference, because this story works based on all of us knowing our right and our left. And hopefully you will not end up with the same ornament that you came with. So sometimes it's just interesting to watch adults sometimes play this game, which always adds a little festivity and humor. So I have some extra ornaments over here I'll put out. If you want to get up, there's also some goodies, and like I said, I'm taking to have you hand this to other table. It needs to be kind of passed around. And there's also goodies up here that we're going to want to share. So yeah, if you have orders, so if you put extra ordinance, just put them right here. And I'll put my extra ordinance right there. And with that, I will turn it over to Jenny. I really felt like I needed to do the hokey pokey after that. I just want to say, first off, I am so honored to be able to read this story. And I'm sad Jody not able to be here with us. So in my best Bobby Kidder impression, let's make a kindergarten circle and make it big and make sure everyone's included. So bring the circle together, open up a little bit, make sure that we're all, you know how Bobby did this? Join hands. Join hands and make sure we're all connected. Yeah. I think that would work, and then we can go right here. Thank you. That is my ornament. It broke on the way here. But that's okay. We're so close. We've got a few folks outside of our circle. Welcome them in. All right, y'all did a good job. All right, first thing I'd like to say is what an amazing job the young woman did this day presenting. She is a fast talker, which I very much admire. All right, does everybody have their ornaments in hand? Everybody has a space in a circle. Excellent. Okay, so the way this goes is I'm going to start reading the story, and each time you hear right within the story, you will pass your ornament to the right. And then alternatively, each time you hear left, you'll pass the ornament to the left. And I must reiterate what a tremendous honor this is for me to be able to read this school. Reindeer games, right, left. I couldn't help it. Santa, Mrs. Claus, the elves, and the reindeer were all sitting right on the floor, right by the fire. They had just finished reading the classic story the night before Christmas. Everyone was in the right spirits except Rudolph, who was left unsatisfied by the story. It isn't right to have such a long face at Christmas, said Santa. What's wrong, Rudolph? That story didn't make me feel right, responded Rudolph. I noticed when it talked about calling the reindeer by name, it left me out. Hey, you're right, squeaked an elf. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, there's no room left for Rudolph there. I suppose this reminds you of the time you were left out of our reindeer games too, right? Joked Comet. Yeah, that wasn't fun or right to do, replied Rudolph. Hold it right there, said Santa. Rudolph, I believe this story was written right before I asked you to guide my sleigh using the shiny red light bulb that's right on your face. That's right, agreed Rudolph. So there's no need to feel left out, he asked. Right, there's no need to feel left out, assured Santa. Well, you have the right to ask, Mrs. Claus told him. You're the right reindeer for the job, or Santa wouldn't have asked you. Glad we cleared that up, said Santa with a jolly chuckle. Right, let's move on to more important things. Is there any of your Christmas cake left? The end. So while you are up, I'm going to say, why don't you come up here and grab a cookie or a treat of some sort? Here we have some lovely munchkins. And then you can get back to your table. Well, I love this so much. I love so I
Hi, past District Governor Nelson. Good to see you.
Is that? Okay, while you are doing that, and I have a few trivia questions before I turn it over to Allison, who is going to be our sergeant of arms today. I was a fifth grade teacher, and one of my joys of teaching was talk this time of year when I would teach about different cultures and how Christmas was celebrated so differently around the world. So I have a few trivia questions, and I'm going to see if you can figure out which country these particular Christmas holidays portray. We're going to start off with a country that does not celebrate Christmas in the same way. They have a festival of Christmas because they're mostly not Christian. Their favorite food during this holiday festival is KFC, as in Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, pretty close, pretty close. And they also celebrate their favorite is strawberry shortcake. So strawberry shortcake festival, really close. You're really close saying China. KFC. No, Korea, you're in the area. You're right in the right area. Japan. Yeah, Japan. Yeah, that's how they celebrate. Because obviously they are not Christian. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That was one I never taught my kids about the KFC one. I found that on the internet and I was fascinated. This one I did talk about. This is Las Posadas. And I think most of you know it actually celebrates the journey of Joseph and Mary to find a place for Jesus to be born. So they celebrate Las Posadas, and that's the journey. So it's not a one day, it's actually a journey. It starts December 16th and travels till December 24th, which of course is the day that Jesus was born on the 25th. So that is, anybody want to guess which country that might be? I heard it, Mexico. Yeah, that's a Mexico journey. And that was a fun one because they're also famous for a plant that they grow. It obviously is tropical, doesn't quite live as long here, but the poinsettia. And that, there's a wonderful children's book about the journey and the little girl who has no gift to give to Jesus. And then she walks out of the church and all the poinsettias have blossomed. And so that's her gift. And it's a wonderful, wonderful story. This was one of my favorites. Somebody was talking about poop. What is the name of the traditional Catalonian Christmas log that poops presents and candy? Candy, but this is real. I had to go back and read a little bit more about it because I also couldn't teach my fifth graders about this one, or they would just, that's it. My day would be over. I'd be hearing those pooping presents. So this is Tio de Nadal, and it's Spanish. It's Spain. So they actually have a Christmas log that they all December, they feed it candy. And then the night before Christmas, they cover it with a blanket and they go to bed. And the next day they get up with sticks and they beat this log. And obviously somebody has come in and put presents and candy underneath it. And of course, all the candy and the presents spread all over. It's kind of like a point, it's kind of like a piñata, which makes sense, Spanish piñata. Well, that's what they do. That's a tradition in Spain, is in Catalonia, is that they have the hooping Tio de Nadal. And is it exactly why I couldn't even tell my fifth graders about it? Because I'd lose them. Okay, so here's one. In which European country do children leave their shoes out on December 5th to be filled by St. Nicholas? Germany and Hungary does that, and so does the Netherlands. So that's a tradition that started in that. And that was, they call that St. Nicholas Day. I do remember that. They do that. Okay. Which country is famous for the festive tradition of the agave goat? A giant straw goat that's built every December. I don't know if it poops presents or not. Any ideas? No. Further north. This is Sweden. And actually, when I was in Sweden, I saw something and I was wondering what that goat was doing. But yeah, it's a goat. Interesting. So let's see what else we had. Okay, what is a traditional Christmas meal in Australia centered around? No, they don't eat kangaroo. But think about it. What is it like at Christmas time in Australia? Hot. Barbecue. They barbecue on Christmas. So, okay, what else do I have here? Just a couple of minutes. I'm going to turn it over to Allison. One other one. This is another one. Some of these were hilarious. Which country eats carp as their traditional Christmas meal?
Czechia.
Yeah, Czechia, Poland. Yeah, so that's it. Fascinating to me. So anyway, I think that pretty well does it. And what country do people celebrate Little Christmas? So this is another. Oh, I have one for Lutz too. Little Christmas on January 6th, which of course is the time. That is actually Italy. Yeah, yeah. And then this is my favorite one. Which country hides a pickle in their Christmas tree? Which country hides a pickle in their Christmas tree? I would think Lutz would know this, being of German descent. And I have to say that one because I me have Lutz. I can see Lutz hiding a pickle in his Christmas tree. You never did pickles? Okay, well, see, now you can start a new tradition for the grandchildren. Okay, and with that, I will bring Allison up to be our Sergeant of Arms.
Hi, everybody. I was told I need to keep it short, so I will save my plans for how to solve world hunger for next time. But today, well, yesterday, I guess I'll go back, and I was talking to my 6-year-old about Christmas traditions, and we were getting really sentimental and the different things we do every year. And I said, well, out of all of those, we had listed probably a dozen. What's your favorite? And he still said getting presents, duh. So today I thought that we could talk about Christmas presents. At my last staff meeting, we talked about our most memorable gift rather than the best gift. Something that you remember the most from your childhood or something that was just really fantastic. And I had shared about my most memorable gift, which was when I was in the 3rd grade. My brother is 2 years younger than me, so he was in 1st grade, and we both wanted a GameCube for Christmas. It just come out that year. We were really excited with these GameCubes. There were 2 identical presents wrapped under the tree when we got down to the tree that morning. And he opened up his, and his was a GameCube. So I thought for sure I was getting a GameCube, and I opened it up, and it was a pen, a writing utensil. And that was my present. And I remember being so upset because I didn't get a GameCube, but I ended up getting one later on. But anyways, since I don't have a ton of time, I thought we could do either Happy Bucks or share your most memorable gift from your childhood instead.
I'll just start real quick and then I'll run the mic around. So put your hands up. I got a perfume set, which is kind of like a random thing, whatever. But I loved it because it was the scientist in me. You got to mix and stuff, all this really cool stuff. And so I just had a wonderful time with that.
I'm gonna do Happy Bucks, because there's so much going on at the food bank. But I'm gonna do Happy Bucks for the Church of Latter-day Saints, who have been very supportive of us for many, many years, but just in November gave us $90,000 to continue, because we don't know what's gonna happen after the first of the year. Yeah, pretty amazing. But the community helped through grants and individual giving over $500,000 to the Josephine County Food Bank. And my second, really quick, is to Endless Summer, who is one of our local community partners who have been giving us their staff to work in the warehouse starting in October through the end of January. And these are warehouse guys that are trained and they're volunteering their time, and Endless Summer is paying them to come and work. So be supportive of anybody in the community. Thank you.
Awesome. Next, who else sings Happy Bucks here for the holiday season? Christmases of the past.
My happy buck is for my brother, because our birthdays used to be together and we would pull, I know it's not a Christmas present, but it's my most memorable present. We would we one time pulled our presents together, so my parents would buy us one of those little blow up boats. And then we went in the bay and we got to go like from one spot to, I think we were like 9. But then we also found this big piece of styrofoam and we went around the marsh with that. And that didn't cost a thing and we didn't have to pull our presents. So I don't know, they were both really fun.
Probably child neglect at this point.
Christmas presents for me are 2 of my children born in December, and they bring them out. They bring them out in a little stocking when they bring them to you at the hospital, which is really cute. And Doug's birthday this month, and also those are all my presents. But my favorite childhood one was a little ballerina called, I think, Dancerina. And that was the most memorable one. You just pushed her crown and she would turn around.
And a baseball bat. 3 fingers. Stan Musial.
One of my memories is when we took the kids to Mexico and for our Christmas tree, we found a branch from a palm tree and we set it up in our little room. And I had brought felt and sewing stuff so we could make ornaments while we were there. And watching Lutz make an ornament was priceless. He was so stressed. He had to go out on the balcony with the door closed. No one talked to him. And focus. And when it was done, we were all like, oh. What is it? Anyway, I still have that ornament.
Some of you younger folks think your technology is hot stuff, but the first year transistor radios came out, I got one for Christmas, and it's about 10 times as large as a phone. And I used to hide it under my pillow and during baseball season and listen to Vin Scully.
My most favorite Christmas gift was the Christmas I got, first of all, several packages of clothing that wouldn't possibly fit me because they were very much smaller than I was. And then the last package came and it was a Patty Play Pal. And the Patty Play Pal worked for the clothing.
Growing up, my parents didn't have much money, and the only thing I wanted for Christmas was a chatty Cathy. You pull the string and you, hello, will you be my friend? Anyway, 14 years ago, my husband for Christmas found one that actually works, and I finally got my chatty Cathy.
That's priceless.
So I was going through some old family pictures and found the picture when I was 6 years old and got this cute little doll. And I still have the doll, so now she holds the picture.
That's wonderful. I'm a fast talker too, so I'm gonna go through some great things because I really want to celebrate my niece Ashley, who's here and she hasn't been here. We haven't seen her in a while and everybody was asking about her and she's amazing. For Christmas memories, I'm gonna jump on the technology bandwagon because I remember it was probably about 1984. And we all had our individual amounts in the family that I lived in, and we all pulled together part of our gift to buy a VCR. And I believe it was like $300 or something ridiculous like that. And I remember we used to rent them in suitcases from the video zone and the videotapes. And so that was really exciting. We were all very happy about that. Hence my great love of movies. I also had a colleague who was probably about 20 years older than me, and this was probably about 15 years ago, and her name was Kathy. And I was training her on the first day, and I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm being a chatty Kathy." And you should have seen the look on her face because she very much remembered the chatty Kathy doll.
But just, Ashley, we love you. We are always here for you. I thank each and every one of you for welcoming her into our club. And I just thank you all for being you. I was so happy to see so many people here today. And my happy bucks are celebrating all of you and all of my favorite teachers and my favorite people. And Bobby Kidder sends her love too. It's her birthday on Monday.
Good, wow. All right.
I have a really quick one. When I was a little girl, I think I was 5. So my brother was like 8, 7, 6. I was 5 and my brother was 4. We got up on Christmas morning and there was a saddle under the tree. Now we were all afraid and didn't know anything about that. But so later in the afternoon, this car pulls in with a horsey thing in the back, and we had gotten a horse. But it was kind of sweet. But my dad had been a CPA and he bartered with people, and whoever client that was couldn't pay him, so he gave him a horse. So that's what we got. It was really cool. Her name was Dusty.
Wow, that is awesome. So yes, it's wonderful to see everybody here and having so many happy thoughts. I do have something, we have to do our happy bucks, but yeah, I also have a sad thought. And I know that Nelson Jones told me this morning about something that's kind of sad in our Rotary Club, and I was gonna bring that up. And so lots of prayers, because Marty Bauer, currently, we know Marty Bauer, he's been around forever. He is currently in hospice. So keep the prayers and keep the positive thoughts going to him and his family. And with that, we are going to have Roger, the leader of the group, pick our lucky card. Ooh, it's the Jack of Diamonds. Who has the Jack of Diamonds? Oh, no. Well, if I were you, I'd plan to go to Las Vegas right now. All right, so good job. Carol is our winner. First together. And with that, I will hurry back and give you the thought for the day. And I am so happy bucks I'm gonna put in just because I was able to do all this in an hour. That is just amazing. I deserve a reward. I didn't talk too much. If I am known to do. Did somebody? Well, I had a happy thought. It's somebody, I have more paper than what just meant here. Oh, there's more. Here it is. And it's gonna make it by 1. I have 30 seconds to give my that. Final thought for the year. Every ending is a quiet invitation to dream bigger, to love deeper, and to live bolder. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year celebration. And I will see you back here next year on January 8th. Thank you for being here.
Good job. Thank you.
Absolutely. All up.